What happens when a young boy from a humble background rises to challenge a massive, oppressive empire, forms alliances with brilliant minds, defeats one of the greatest military powers of the ancient world, and establishes the first and one of the largest empires in Indian history? This isn't a movie plot. This is the real story of Chandragupta Maurya, the founder of the Maurya Empire, a man who reshaped the Indian subcontinent and whose legacy still echoes across more than 2,300 years of history. So grab your armor, sharpen your intellect, and get ready, because today we're diving into a tale of strategy, ambition, rebellion, and empire. Welcome to the story of the Maurya Empire and Chandragupta Maurya. Before Chandragupta enters the scene, let's set the context. The 4th century BCE was a turbulent time in ancient India. After the decline of powerful kingdoms like Magadha's Nanda dynasty, the subcontinent was filled with numerous city-states, rival kings, regional conflicts, and powerful warlords constantly jockeying for dominance. To the northwest, things were even more chaotic. Alexander the Great had stormed into India around 326 BCE. Although he eventually turned back, his invasion left behind Greek garrisons, foreign satraps, and a general sense that India's borders were no longer safe. Imagine huge armies marching across plains, alliances forming and shattering, and everyday people living under heavy taxation and political uncertainty. This was the India into which Chandragupta Maurya, a young boy of extraordinary potential, was born. Chandragupta's early life is wrapped in legends. Some accounts say he belonged to a humble family, possibly of a lower social status, while other traditions claim he was of noble birth but living in poverty. What's consistent across the stories is this: he had charisma, courage, and a burning desire for something bigger. But raw potential isn't enough to build an empire. Greatness often needs a spark, and in Chandragupta's case, that spark was Chanakya, the brilliant, sharp-tongued scholar from Takshashila, also famous as Kautilya, the author of the legendary political treatise Arthashastra. Their first meeting is one of history's great turning points. Chanakya had been humiliated by the Nanda king, the powerful ruler of Magadha. Furious, he vowed to overthrow the Nandas, but he wasn't a warrior. He needed someone courageous, disciplined, and smart enough to lead armies. Then he met Chandragupta. Some say Chanakya saw a spark in the boy's eyes. Others say Chandragupta boldly approached the famed scholar and asked for guidance. Either way, the result was a partnership that would change history. Chanakya took Chandragupta under his wing, trained him in warfare, diplomacy, economics, espionage, statecraft, and leadership. With Chanakya's brain and Chandragupta's bravery, the blueprint for a revolution was ready. So, Magadha's Nanda dynasty was immensely wealthy, but honestly, they were deeply unpopular. Their taxes were heavy, their rule was strict, and well, many smaller kingdoms really resented their dominance. Chanakya and Chandragupta saw an opportunity here. They began by rallying support from common people, local rulers, and mercenaries. They built an army not just of soldiers, but of individuals who were motivated by the promise of a better future. At first, they tried direct battle and failed. But failure is a teacher. Chanakya reorganized their efforts. He used networks of spies, created alliances, and orchestrated a slow, strategic plan to weaken the Nandas from within. And finally, around 321 BCE, they succeeded. The Nandas were defeated. Magadha, one of the richest regions in India, was now under the control of Chandragupta Maurya. And with Magadha as his capital, he was ready to build something unprecedented. Chandragupta didn't just want a kingdom, he wanted an empire, and that meant expanding, north, south, east, west, uniting the fragmented regions of the subcontinent. But there was one huge foreign threat still looming in the northwest. the Greeks. After Alexander left India, several of his generals carved out territories for themselves. The most powerful among them was Seleucus I Nicator, ruler of the Seleucid Empire. A clash was inevitable. At its peak, the Maurya Empire stretched across the entire northern Indian subcontinent, parts of the Deccan Plateau, and regions as far west as modern Afghanistan. But, land area isn't what really makes an empire great. It was the administration. Under the guidance of Chanakya and later ministers, the Mauryas created one of the most sophisticated political systems of the ancient world. They had a centralized government, organized taxation, a massive standing army, a spy network worthy of a modern thriller, well-maintained infrastructure, and a highly structured bureaucracy. The empire was divided into provinces, each governed by trusted officials, ensuring law, order, and prosperity. The Mauryas didn't just conquer, they governed. After decades of rule, conquests and empire building, Chandragupta did something totally unexpected. He walked away from it all. Influenced by Jain monks, especially Acharya Bhadrabahu, Chandragupta renounced his throne and embraced an ascetic lifestyle. According to Jain tradition, he spent his final years in meditation at Shravanabelagola, in present-day Karnataka. There he undertook Salakana, a peaceful voluntary ritual of fasting unto death, a practice rooted in Jain spiritual philosophy. Whether you see it as a noble act of renunciation or a deeply philosophical ending, Chandragupta's departure from the world was as dramatic as his rise. Chandragupta Maurya's story is more than just ancient history. It's honestly a lesson in leadership, strategy, and vision. His life teaches us that greatness can rise from humble beginnings. The right mentorship can change the world. Empires are built on strategy, not luck. Diplomacy can achieve what battles cannot. And that power, even at its absolute peak, can be let go for higher ideals. The Maurya Empire he founded didn't just survive him, it flourished under his successors, especially his grandson, Ashoka the Great, who carried the empire to its cultural and moral zenith. Without Chandragupta, there would be no Ashoka. Without Chandragupta, India's political history would look entirely different. And that, my friends, is the incredible journey of Chandragupta Maurya, a boy who became a conqueror who became a king, and a king who became a monk. From overthrowing oppressive rulers, to defeating the successors of Alexander the Great, to building one of the most remarkable empires of the ancient world. Chandragupta stands as one of history's greatest leaders. If you found this story fascinating, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below with who you want us to cover next. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next episode of Legends of History.